Well, y'all, good evening. If I haven't had the opportunity to meet you yet, my name is Connor Bell. I'm the associate pastor here at Noonan First United Methodist Church, and I love seeing this sanctuary this full on a Sunday evening. I'm so glad that y'all have taken the time to be out here, and I think we are in for a treat tonight. I've just been informed that, Chad, you were at Southern Miss, is that correct? Wow, so there are at least 3 Southern Miss grads in this room right now, so that is something to celebrate to the top. And so I'm really excited about those Mississippi connections. And I've also been informed there's a lot of these folks affiliated with Northbrook, where Andrew was at his previous appointment. And so they said they've got all the dirt on Andrew. You can come up and ask them following the service. But y'all, I'm really just excited for folks sharing their gifts tonight, and I just wanted to give them an official warm welcome. Can you join me in welcoming this fantastic group? And y'all, I would like to open us in a word of prayer. Let's pray. God, you have gathered your people into this sanctuary once again. I ask that you open our hearts to be transformed by music, God. You have crafted music to work in a unique way in our hearts and in our souls, Lord, and I ask that we are open and receptive to what your Spirit does tonight. We are so grateful for this group, and please, God, just allow your Spirit to move. Allow us to hear what you want us to hear tonight, and we are so grateful for who you are and all that you give to us every day. All these things we say in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Souls of men downward were bound. It made him so sad. He wanted a plan that saved they might be, that saved they might be. After all else had failed, God sent his Son, had him to die that our souls might be won. Wasn't he good, so good to you and to me, to me? God is so good to me, so good to me. Yes, he is good to me, so good to me. God is so good, so good. He's so good to me, oh yes. And God is so good to me, so good to me. Yes, he is good to me, so good to me. God is so good, so good. He's so good to me. God is so good to me. Now I am singing glad praises to God. Joy bells are ringing as onward I plod. No happier nor more satisfied could anyone be, could anyone be. Now I'm a pilgrim here just passing through, going to heaven, the home of the true. God is so good, so good. He's so good to me, to me. And God is so good to me, so good to me. Yes, he is good to me, so good to me. God is so good, so good. He's so good to me, oh yes. And God is so good to me, so good to me. Yes, he is good to me, so good to me. God is so good, so good. He's so good to me. God is so good to me. And God is so good to me, so good to me. Yes, he is good to me, so good to me. God is so good, so good. He's so good to me, oh yes. God is so good to me, so good to me. Yes, he is good to me, so good to me. God is so good, so good. He's so good to me. God is so good to me. Walk a little with the Lord and Savior. Trust a little in His Word. Sing a little of His love from day to day, from day to day. Well, well, pray a little to the King of glory. Make a little praises ring. Cheer a little those you meet along the way. Well, walk, 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 talk, talk a little, sing a little, sing a little, bring a little, live a little, give a little, lean on cold. Well, pray, stay a little, go, a little, know a little, walk, and talk a little with the Lord. Give a little more of cheer, my brother, a little pathway here. Be a little more inclined to do His will, well, well. Trust a little in His grace and power. Dream a little of that place. In a little while we'll see just o'er the hills. Well, walk a little, talk a little, sing a little, bring a little, live a little, give a little, in a cold. Pray, stay a little, go, know a little, walk, and talk a little with the Lord. Well, walk a little, talk a little, sing a little, bring a little, live a little, give a little more into my chord. Well, pray, stay a little, go, know a little, walk, and talk a little with the Lord. Unworthy am I of the grace that He gave, unworthy to hold to His hand, amazed that a King would reach down to a slave. His love I cannot understand. Unworthy, a beggar in bondage and alone, but He made me worthy, and now by His grace, His mercy has made me His own. My sorrow and sickness laid stripes on His back. My sins caused the blood that was shed. My faults and my failures had woven a crown. His mercy has made me His own. But He made me worthy, and now by His grace, His mercy has made me His own. What a crowd. Sunday evening, you could be watching Netflix and all that stuff, if you can afford it. God. So, wow, yes, and I know you all came because you came to hear Katie sing, because you don't know who we are, so. But what a great crowd, fantastic, and we hope that we sing something tonight, if we haven't already, that brings back some memories, if you are familiar with Southern gospel music. If you haven't had the opportunity to read the little background here that she's got in it, if you want to wait till Chad sings his solo, that'd be the best time to read it. But if you, someone just told me recently, earlier, they were like, oh gosh, I know all these songs. These are songs I haven't heard in years. So we do sing Southern gospel, shape note, convention style music. And how many of you are familiar with, or maybe even grew up attending a shape note singing school? Whoa, look at this. Hold them up again, hold them up again. That's crazy, look at that. Yeah, it's rare. Usually I'll have one person, but you know, Katie, we pick on her. She's from Pennsylvania. She can't help it. But I've told Chad and Katie, because Chad, I don't even really know where to start with all this, but Chad is the music director at Northbrook, and of course Katie came, they both went to Southern Miss, and when Katie came to Noonan, I said, look, you know, you're in the hotbed of Southern gospel music. Not so much now, but there was a time when Atlanta was it. And those of you who know what I'm talking about, and that's what we've got here in the program tonight, because you know, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, it was the Spear family. Remember them? The Statesmen, the Blackwoods, the Lefevres, the Homeland Harmony. Atlanta was it, and they would have the all-night singings in the municipal auditorium, and they would pack them out. It would have been great to have gotten to attend some of those. And we're gonna try to relive some of that. We can't sing it like them, but we're gonna relive it by singing some of the songs that they made popular. So let me introduce everybody right quick, and then we'll sing one for you. On the bass guitar is Mr. Steve Hudson from Canton, Georgia. Eric Tippins on the piano from Ball Ground, Georgia. Chad Hunt from Canton, Georgia. And the best choir director you will ever have at this church, Katie Dixon. Saul Ibarra from Canton, Georgia. He's also a member of Northbrook United Methodist Church. And I'm Randy Hubbard. I'm also attend Northbrook, and I'm from Canton, Georgia as well. So it's good to be here. We should come up with a name, but we never have, so don't ask me what our name of our group is, because we don't have one.
We only sing like once a year. So.
Yeah, we sing once or twice a year, and you can figure that out if you listen long enough. Talked about the quartets, the Statesman Quartet from Atlanta, Georgia. One of their biggest hits was Sweeter as the Days Go By, and we're going to sing that for you now. The more I trust him, the more I love him. Nothing good for me he'll deny. The longer I know him, the better I can show him. I couldn't stop now if I try. Oh, it gets sweeter as the days go by. It gets sweeter as the moments fly. His love is richer, deeper sweeter, 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 sweeter as the days go by. The moment he saved me, his good grace he gave me, he placed his love down deep in my heart. It's great joy in knowing with him I am going, and never more from him to depart. Oh, it gets sweeter as the days go by. It gets sweeter as the moments fly. His love is richer, deeper, fuller, sweeter, 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 sweeter as the days go by. Oh, it gets sweeter as the days go by. It gets sweeter as the moments fly. His love is richer, deeper, fuller, sweeter, 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 sweeter as the days go by. His love is richer, deeper, fuller, sweeter, 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 sweeter as the days go by. Days go by.
So, going back to the Statesman, how many of you remember Big Chief, the bass singer of the Statesman Quartet from Atlanta? Actually, he's buried over here in Rex, Georgia, too far from here. He wrote a song. He actually wrote a lot of songs. A lot of people never realize that. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, then I'll connect you with someone who you will know, and that's Elvis Presley. But that's something you may not know, a random bit of history. But Elvis wanted to be a gospel quartet bass singer. And his two favorite groups were the Blackwood Brothers and the Statesmen. And as a young boy in Memphis, he would go to the all-night singings in Memphis, and he did not have money to get in. So he would go to the backstage door, and he would start talking and everything with those quartet men. And they were all out there smoking cigarettes because they couldn't let people know they smoked, because the church people would have said something. So he'd go back there and talk to them, and then he would work his way in and get a free ticket. And his favorite bass singer was the Big Chief, Jim Weatherington, who wrote the song. So the Big Chief was very controversial because when they would do TV programs and he would, end on a really low note, he would shake his leg and move his hips, and they wouldn't show it on the television and WSB and whatever the TV station was in Atlanta, the Nabisco shows. And Elvis picked that up, and he took that from the all-night singings, and he took it and did it on the Ed Sullivan Show. So I'm not going to be shaking my hips tonight.
Thank goodness.
But we will attempt to sing one of Big Chief's songs that they recorded. It's called Greater Love Hath No Man.
This
Jesus walked that day up Calvary's hill. The cross was hard to bear. He took my place of his own will to show me that he cared.
He wanted to show to man what love could do, and that death was never the end. Then he said, "Greater love hath no man than this, than that he lay down his life for a friend."
So, if you read in your bulletin that talks about the singing schools and the shaped notes, most all of us met each other through singing schools. So, I went to the Alabama school, Chad went to Alabama school, and we both went to Stamps Baxter and Texas and Stamps Baxter and all of those schools, the North Georgia school. Those singing schools are still going, believe it or not, but it is a much smaller audience than it was decades ago. So you say, what are the shaped notes? And you've heard of the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But the shaped notes, well, it was a quick way of teaching music to the people that lived in the rural parts of the country, and especially in the South. And so people that probably never would have had an opportunity to go to college, get a music degree, and go back home and work in the church, they could learn how to read music very quickly. I myself learned in 2 weeks, and I'm a master at it. No, lying in church. But it was a quick way, and each shape was associated with a tone. And so we thought it would be fun if we sing a convention type song where you might have heard when we did Walk a Little, Talk a Little, and we were all singing every which way. It's called Counterparts. So we're going to be singing this old song called Getting Ready to Leave This World, and it's just going to go crazy. And you're going to hear all these different parts, different rhythms. And then I think we're going to have everybody sing the shaped notes for you, which was very typical in the singing schools where they would say, stop trying to look at the words, just sing the notes. And so we're going to do that for you tonight. I hope you enjoy it. It's called Getting Ready to Leave This World.
Laying up my treasures in that home above, fully trusting in the Savior's love, doing what I can for heaven's holy dove. I'm a-getting ready to leave this world, getting ready to leave this world of sorrow, getting ready for the gates of pearl tomorrow, keeping my record bright, watching both day and night, ready to leave this world. Do 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 la do do la do 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 ti ti la la do do re re so do 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 la do do la do do fa so 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 do so 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 do so do 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 la do so so re so so do 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 la re re so fa mi re so do do la so so la la so mi re do do la re so la so 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 do. To prepare a mansion, Jesus said, I'll go. If it were not true, I would have told you so. Just a little while to linger here below. I'm getting ready to watching
both day and night.
ready to leave this world.
Of all times when he needs to talk, he's not going to.
He left the splendor of heaven, knowing his destiny was the lonely hill of Golgotha, there to lay down his life for me. If that isn't love, the ocean is dry. There's no stars in the sky, and the sparrow can fly. If that isn't love, then heaven's a myth. There's no feeling like this. If that isn't love, even in death he remembered the thief hanging by his side. He spoke with love and compassion. Then he took him to paradise. If that isn't love, the ocean is dry. There's no stars in the sky, and the sparrow can fly. If that isn't love, then heaven's a myth. There's no feeling like this. If that isn't love.
We were talking about the shape notes, and I forgot to tell you, if you grew up Methodist, you might remember the Cokesbury hymnal. It's interesting that in the South, the Cokesbury hymnal had to be printed in shape notes and round notes because there was a time in the South that there were so many Methodist churches that only read by shapes that they had to have the Cokesbury printed in shape notes. It's pretty interesting because you would never see that today in any type of denominational hymnal. But some of you told me you actually had copies. So it's a really neat history that we have as Methodists. This is a song that basically talks about dying. And, that's not something we like to talk about. But, if you spend your life in the faith and you spend your life going to church and learning all there is to know about God and his unconditional love, and when it comes that time for you to move on into the other world, there is a peace and consolation about the fact that when you have traveled your last mile, he'll be there to hold your hand. And we kind of sometimes look at that and say, oh, that's just pretty words. Somebody put that in a song. But there's been a lot, and there's a lot on social media that I've read where, they'll talk about someone's passing away and they'll make a comment and say, what they see on the other side or what they're feeling. And, we don't know because we haven't been there. But it is comforting to know that when that time does come for us as a believer, that he will be there to hold our hand. And that's what this song is about. And we hope you enjoy it.
Someday when I've traveled my last mile here, the call will be coming for me. I'll enter the lifeboat that will be near to carry me over the sea. He'll hold to my hand, hold to my hand, as over death's river I go. Then safe I shall be, safe I shall be in beautiful heaven, I know. My barge shall sail safely, though waves dash safe I shall be. Safe I shall be in beautiful heaven, I know. In beautiful heaven, I know.
Well, friends, I am just so grateful just to be here and to be able to learn more about this type of music and these songs. And don't hate me for this, but this is all new to me. I'm newer to this world, and so I am just fascinated and enthralled by these wonderful songs. And so I'm so grateful to all of you for sharing your gifts with us in worship. And y'all, we're going to have a few moments where the ushers come forward and take an offering. This collection is going to go toward our music ministry, but it also just helps ensure that we're able to do more things like this at this church. And so we want to be supportive of music ministries as a ministry of our church. And I would just encourage you to give generously so that we can make this possible in the future. So, yeah.
What's the name of that song? Just Beyond the Dark Clouds. Yeah, Just Beyond the Dark Clouds. So, by Joe Roper? Yeah, from Alabama. So one thing that you may have listened to that, and it's a fantastic job. You may be like, wow, that's kind of jazzy for church. I mean, we are the First Methodist, But one thing about convention-style music is if you know anything about it or ever heard the piano player in any of the quartets or even in convention singings, very jazzy, and they would play a lot of jazz chords. And even in the older days, the heydays of the quartets, a lot of the quartets could not sing in churches anymore, which is why they started going into the civic centers and the city auditoriums, because they were too worldly. They sounded too worldly for the church. But you hear a lot of that. That's very typical in convention-style music, and great job by Eric. Let's let them know that we enjoy it. So, talking about groups and with Georgia roots here, we mentioned the Spear family. This is a song that the Spear family made popular forever, and a lot of people have heard that the Spear family came from Double Springs, Alabama, in Winston County, which is true. But you might say, well, what are the Georgia roots? You mentioned it here. Well, Dad Spear was born in Fayetteville, Georgia, or nearby. And in Peachtree City, there is a Spear family cemetery. And you say, why do you know about all these graves? Well, I used to sell monuments, so I can tell you where everybody's buried that's, at least in gospel music. So the Spear family came from this general area of Georgia, then they went to Alabama, and then they went to Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, and became the Singing Spear family and legends, obviously, in gospel music. But here's one that they made famous called Somebody Loves Me, and we're going to clap on this, and we're going to clap on the offbeat. And I know that might be difficult for some, but just follow me, okay? And if you can't do it, just let it go. Just fold your hands. All right, here we go.
I'm in love with my Savior, and He's in love with me. He is with me from day to day. What a friend is He. Watches over me while I sleep. Hears me when I pray. I am happy as I can be, and I now can say, somebody loves me, answers my prayer. I love somebody, I know He cares. Somebody tells me not to repine. That somebody is Jesus, and I know He's mine.
Man, Katie taught y'all well. Look at that.
Then at last when our work is done, He will call us home to a mansion He has prepared, never more to roam. We'll sit down by the riverside, cares all passed away, and with never a pain to bear, what a happy day.
Somebody loves me, answers my prayer. I love somebody, I know He cares. Somebody tells me not to repine. That somebody is Jesus, and I know He's mine. That somebody is Jesus, and I know He's mine.
This number right here is called Lord Teach Me How to Pray. It was written by J.D. Sumner. Anybody remember him? Yes. Very, very great bass singer with the Blackwoods and later the Stamps Quartet. He wrote hundreds of songs, and this is one I think of his best. Chad does a good job on it. It's called Lord Teach Me How to Pray.
Teach me how to pray that I might see. Lord, teach me what to say and set me free, that I may ever go at your command. Lord, teach me how to walk and hold your hand. Let not my will teach me how to wait down on my knees, that I may know that you have heard my plea. Lord, teach me how to use my life for thee. Lord, teach me how to help the lost to see. Let not my will, but thine be done, and more like Jesus me would be. Lord, let me walk with you each day. Lord, teach me how to pray. Lord, let me walk with you each day. Lord, teach me how to pray.
They always get on to me for talking too much, and then if I'm not talking, they're like, you need to talk, I gotta drink water. So sometimes silence is good.
If you ever grow weary along this troublesome way, and the devil would tempt you to just give up in the fray, keep on looking to Jesus and think what's waiting for you, and you'll find strength that you never knew. Think about the joy of landing upon that beautiful shore, and finding it is heaven that you've been looking for. Or the joy of meeting someone in glory, and find that it's the Lord, and hear him say, enter and receive your great reward. Think of seeing a river, beautiful, crystal clear, and find that it's the river of life you're standing near. Think of knowing you've arrived at that heavenly dome, and seeing there a mansion, and you find it's your new home. One day soon I'll cross over, I know it cannot be long. Seems I almost hear singing from that eternal glad throng. Oh, the thought of it thrills me, to know I soon will be there, to know the glory beyond compare. Think about the joy of landing on that beautiful shore, and finding it is heaven that you've been looking for. Or the joy of meeting someone in glory, and find that it's the Lord, and hear him say, enter and receive your great reward. Think of seeing a river, beautiful, crystal clear, and understanding. If you think of knowing you've arrived at that heavenly dawn and seeing there a mansion, you find it's your new home. If it had not been for the Lord by my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be if it had not been for the Lord by my side? Tell me where would I be? Where would I be? He kept my enemies away. He let the sun shine through a cloudy day. He rocked me in the cradle of his love when he knew I had been battered by the storm. So if it had not been for the Lord by my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be if it had not been for the Lord by my side? Tell me where would I be? Where would I be? He never left me all alone. He gave me peace and joy I'd never known. He answered when I really knelt to pray, and in victory the Lord brought me his way. So if it had not been for the Lord by my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be if it had not been for the Lord by my side? Tell me where would I be? Where would I be?
Well, they usually also tell me that I talk and go overtime, but it's 6:57. How about that? And we're doing the last song. Finally getting better, I guess. Mosey Lister, who was a great songwriter in the Southern gospel music world, from Cochran, Georgia. And he, little bit of random history since I'm still early. Mosey Lister was the first lead singer for the Statesman Quartet. I don't even know that they even made records with him singing. And he was told by Hovey Lister that he was not very impressive, so they let him go. And Jake Hess became the lead singer for the Statesman. And Mosey spent most of his time tuning pianos for Rich's department store in downtown Atlanta, but that's not how he made his living. he made a deal with the Statesman that he would write songs and all the good songs would go straight to them first. So they took all of his hits and, or songs that, they made them hits, I guess, but they got all the good cream of the crop songs. And so that's another reason why they became so successful. But Mosey Lister died not too many years ago, and a famous songwriter, but amazing words and all the songs that he ever wrote. This is probably the best. It's called Where No One Stands Alone, and it features Chad, and we will close it out with this song. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you think we might could come back? Yeah. But if I find out that you get rid of Katie, we're not coming back. So you let her stay. No, great song. I hope you enjoy the words. Thank you for being a great, fantastic crowd and for clapping on the offbeat. And thank you for this cutesy over here who has stayed the whole night, and she's just been really great. So I don't even know her name, but Sophie. Hi, Sophie. Oh, I just got to look. So we shall sing. Here we go.
Once I stood in the night with my head bowed low in the darkness as black as could be, and my heart felt alone, and I cried, "Oh Lord, don't hide your face from me. Hold my hand all the way, every hour, every day, from here to the great unknown. Take my hand, let me stand where no one stands alone. Like a king, I may live in a palace so tall, with great riches to call my own. But I don't know a thing in this whole wide world that's worse than being alone. Hold my hand all the way, every hour, every day, from here to the great unknown. Take my hand, let me stand where no one stands alone. Oh, take my hand, let me stand where no one stands alone.
Thank you.